What is going on, guys? We've got Gattuso 89 Future Star. Intercept, he's gone up a little bit, to be honest, in terms of what we've got. We've got an 86, an 87, and now an 89. I mean, it's a hard one because I'm like, you can go with these campaigns all you like, but they've got to be substantial. Not everybody is going to get multiple upgrades. We've not seen one on somebody like, I'm trying to even think of icons, to be honest now. Say we've not seen one on somebody like, let's go into the 7. We're thinking like a Bastion hasn't got one, I'm pretty sure. There will be quite a few that have at least a 1 upgrade, but even when we look at it, most of them, like Balak's, only a +1 because of the fact he's obviously got that Thunderstruck that didn't get evolved. This is the second one now, so are we going to see another one anytime soon? I could imagine. Probably not. So I would have at least maybe gone a 90. And to be honest, they could have at least given him a 4-star, 4-star, or at least a 3-star, 4-star to add a bit of weight to him. He has got a decent pace increase from the kind of bog standard from him. So that is one thing that is nice. He has got the intercept, which as I said, don't think he had. He had relentless prior to this, which is always nice. So he has had that at a minimum. In terms of is he usable, he's a CDM centre mid, 81 pace, 81 dribbling, composure, little bit low for an icon of an 89 variant. Defending, decent, just heading that's absolutely woeful. Strength and aggression looking good. We have got intercept, bruiser and relentless as the only playstyles he's got. Passing wise, good as well. Now I'm interested, what would we go with chem style? I can imagine something like Shadow or Engine, I would imagine. If we was to go with the Shadow, so if we were to look here, we'd end up with 89 pace, 95 defending. You would get a bit of an agility balance boost if you went for that Engine as well. Give him a 92 overall. The Shadow gives him a 93 overall. So you've got your arguments between them. We're going to go Shadow on this one just to start with, just to see how his boost actually kind of really goes with it. But I'm interested to see, is he going to compare to Rijkaard, to Petit as two of the main ones that we have seen? The only kind of good factor is they haven't got a double playstyle plus either. So that could have been what saves Gattuso a little bit. But let's jump into him. He's already very cheap. Let's hopefully we don't lose any coins. Are you looking for gift cards, game keys and more? Head over to U7Buy for a variety of cards you can get today. From PSN, Steam, all the way to Xbox. With huge amounts of price variations. Check the link in the description for cheap, reliable digital cards for you right now. Right, let's give him the ball straight away. Let's have a look and see what we've got in terms of a dribbler here. Okay, he's got a bit of a left foot. Looking for a bit of a dribble. It's very, very slow. That's not a great look straight away, is that first touch there. That is horrendously bad. And that was the problem with the last one, to be honest, is that even though, yes, I'm not always going to be dribbling with him, like that is a fair enough argument. It's enough to put you off a little bit. Passing should be decent. Look for that Travella. It's a good assist straight away, but that's going to be a big factor with any CDM. I thought Petit and Rijkaard were actually really decent on the dribble. Again, not necessarily the quickest. I'm not expecting him to be a box-to-box sort of level, but most definitely at least enough to kind of keep up with the competition, especially when Rijkaard's SBC is only like 200 and something K as well. Unless we're looking at literally a 60, 70K icon, there's no comparison there then. Ooh, can we find something here? Looking for that outer shot. Looking for the right foot across. Okay, not finding it again. Can we go back? Maybe not. Get the tackle. The one thing that he should be good at is winning the ball back. With that strength and aggression, that should be his absolute key winner right there. If we don't want to give the ball back in the first place, I might add. But we should see him as a very heavy CDM, which might be more towards his strengths rather than necessarily his dribbling. Got to be offside. But passing-wise, looking good. Defending stats-wise, looking very good as well. So that really is what I'm trying to focus on here, especially with that intercept. That's a good playstyle in my books. I love that for a CDM. It's going to be one of my more favoured playstyle pluses. Anticipate for obviously Petit did well, so that again is going to be a big one. Maybe a double for a passing one might have been nice. A long ball pass could have been decent enough then to get a double for him, and it might have at least put him in a bit more of a category away from Petit. Okay, away from Petit and obviously Rijkaard. Another thing that might come into contention with him is going to be that composure. 83 is not necessarily a big issue. Like, it's definitely... Oh, that's a... Ooh, good shot. It's definitely not like a complete deal breaker, but definitely when we see a lot of these cards, they have now hit at least like an 85 at a benchmark, normally going up to the 90s. I'd be interested to see what the average is throughout my team, but that again is going to be something that could come into play when we look at the difference between him and Petit and obviously Rijkaard as well. Of what is the actual difference? Do we see a big difference in it? Because again, it may not be something you could see as like a massive issue right now, but it can play a big part. She's got to be offside. He's got to be offside. I don't even know who it was, but that could make a big play in anybody's team, to be honest, because it's something that may not seem like a massive deal. Like if you had the difference between an 85 and an 87, it doesn't sound it, but most definitely them little chances that you can have could be the massive difference. He's got a decent pass on him as well. That is one thing I always liked with Gattuso. Seems to do the basics really, really well, and that is always a kind of a step up for the card. The only problem we've really had now, which has kind of made the card a little bit less valuable, it's just the fact we don't have any primes. The base is normally pretty good to start with, but then does kind of go out of contention very quickly, and then we kind of go to the prime. It adds a little bit of value because the mid is always trash, but the prime at least has a little bit of flavor to him, whereas this year not having it, going straight to that Centurions, which literally added no value whatsoever with a +1, that again needed a bigger upgrade at a minimum. Looking for him again. Can he split the play? Waiting for that tackle to be run in. Start the play. Like I say, plain and simple with him. And he actually does all right. I wanted to see him run forward there. Like I say, it's not going to be much of an attack in mid. Can we get a bit of a cross? Managed to work our way in. Little fake across. Nice. Little left foot. Virgil. So going into the overall for him then. Terms of price, we're looking just over 200 at the moment, which 45 minutes after release, I can imagine he will drop down a considerable amount. We did see with Crespo in the end, he ended up at 55, which is just crazy, and I can see Gattuso going very similar. Maybe not necessarily as low, but I do think this year he just really isn't represented very well. We're already seeing him at 215. I think even Crespo was about 150 after the first couple of hours, so if we do see that, we might see the same pattern. I must admit his 87's 38k. There isn't necessarily a great difference between them. Yes, you've got a bit on passing, which is always nice. Dribbling's gone up by +10. You might seem a little bit higher, but realistically now, the entry level for a meta icon is above this one, unfortunately. He needed to be at least 91, 90 with... If he was 90, double play star plus definitely, and it's where they're going wrong with the progression on this card. Intercept, have something else like a long ball pass, get the weak foot at the minimum to a 4-star, then obviously with the composure, needs to be up. Even agility balance at 80 is not going to be that much difference. They need to really ramp up these lower cards, and I get they've got to almost have them at the disadvantage at times, but they're going too wrong with it. They're going so heavy on another Zidane, another Zico. That's just a one upgrade. Double play style plus incisive passing and intercept. That's just absolutely crazy already. And then when it comes to a Puyol, they give him block. Why? Like genuinely, that card is not worth anything. You could put Virgil there and he's absolutely fine. Same with Nedved. Rapid's going to be decent. I want to try that card out. 4-star, 5-star, but realistically, you've got every other winger that can do the same. So in terms of Gattuso, he's a decent one, but when we come to the comparison of, especially the two that are going to be the biggest comparisons in Petit and obviously Rijkaard, the only thing that he's got is that he is going to be cheaper, but the question is that because of a point? When we look at them, pace is very similar, that's fair enough. Shooting wise is the lowest. Again, looking at a DM, that's fair enough as well. 81, the lowest passing out of all of them by 1. Then obviously you've got the free. It is the same as Petit, which is good. That obviously doesn't have a massive impact. 4-star weak foot on Rijkaard, which is always good. Dribbling, very similar. Defending, even physical, very, very similar. But when you get into the nitty-gritty, we do look at the composure. You've got 83 versus 90 and 92. And yes, with Petit, him being 400,000 coins, that's fair enough, because more than likely Gattuso will go down to 100. That is a good comparison then to say you could go for a card that maybe is slightly worse, but you're not necessarily going to pay as much for him. Whereas Rijkaard's a perfect example. He's an SBC. I could grind 240 fodder out in a day or two. So what's going to be the excuse to buy him then? You might as well get Rijkaard. You could argue you can put them two at centre backs. You can go centre mids and have him as a CDM. I just don't see the point in this card. Unfortunately, he isn't at the level that he needed to be. They've upgraded him nicely, but I think they definitely needed to do a bit more for him. Unfortunately, I'm going to give him around about a 6 or a 7. I think he's very average, above average for a Gattuso card, but about average in terms of a CDM, what we can get. Let me know your opinion, and we'll try and get Bex out as quick as possible. Peace.